Hello guys, welcome to Elite Dangerous Horizons. Today we are going to take a look at the power play undermining mechanic and how to do undermining in order to increase the upkeep costs of enemy systems of foreign faction powers. So let's head over here to Galaxy Powers. There's a couple of ways to check how to do undermining, and the first one is just to look at the individual Galaxy Powers. So let's take a look at the Felicia Winters first. And you head over here to control, and it'll say down here how to undermine, sabotage Shadow President Felicia Winters' network by stealing liberal federal packages from federal courier ships there, deliver them into contacts in our control systems. I actually don't want to do this because I would have to pick up cargo and deliver it. That's not what I want. I just want to blow stuff up. So let's take a look at Edmund Mahan. How to undermine. Undermine Mahan's bureaucracy by destroying Alliance bureaucrats' ships in Mahan's control systems before they can deliver their briefs. Bring confirmation of destruction to contacts in our control systems. So that's better. Doesn't look like we have to pick up any kind of cargo here. But you can check all of these powers to see what you have to do in order to undermine them. And then you want to head out to Galaxy map. And select the power play feature. And here you can also see what you have to do in order to undermine. You can also see how far it is to control systems that the opposing factions control. In this case Edmund Mahan. You can select any other power here and see how far it is to their control systems in order to go and undermine their systems. And this one is quite far. So let's just stick with Edmund Mahan, who is also the #1 galactic power right now. And here's a system that is controlled by Mahan. And if you head over to this tab here, System Power View, and press that, then you can see the specifications for this exact system, Opala. Undermine task, networking, undermine Mahan's bureaucracy by destroying Alliance bureaucrats in the systems before they can deliver the briefs, bring confirmation of destruction to contacts in our control system. So that's the same text that we had in the Galactic Powers view. And here you can also see the progress towards fortifying and the progress towards undermining, and you can see that the trigger here is 5,637 and it's already met. That means that the players pledged to Mahan already moved cargo from his headquarters to this system to fortify enough to reach this trigger. And you can see that the opposition undermining has also reached that trigger. It's 13,778 and has been undermined for 29,040. So the trigger here is 100% and the trigger here in Fortify is 100%, and they cancel each other out then, meaning that it has no effect at all. If a system is successfully fortified and not undermined at the same time, it'll cost less CC in upkeep for that power. If it's not successfully fortified but successfully undermined, the CC upkeep cost will increase. And if a power doesn't have the overall upkeep CC available, they'll not be able to hold on to their systems. So the mechanic here is to try and make life harder for Edmund Mahan by increasing his upkeep in his systems. So if we went here to undermine, it wouldn't matter at all because it's already taking over the trigger, and it doesn't matter to increase it further. That is in fact wasted. But it's not wasted for us if it's the system that is the shortest way to go, because we will still get merit vouchers for blowing up ships there, which you can see that a lot of players did, because it's taking more than 100% over the actual target. But in terms of politics, it doesn't matter anymore. But you can still earn your merits here. And we're actually gonna go to this system, but let's just check one of the other ones first, so I can show you what it looks like when the trigger is not met. This is also a Mahan control system. And here we can see that the fortify progress is ongoing. It hasn't reached its trigger yet. The trigger is 6,000 and they are almost there. But the undermining is succeeding. The trigger has already been met. So if the cycle ends now, this system would be more expensive for Mahan in upkeep. As you can see up here, cost if undermined, it increased it by 191 CC, which is a lot, because the default upkeep cost is 41 CC. So all of this is very important if you want to stay the #1 galactic power as Mayhan is right now. But for the purposes of this video, we'll just head up here to Apala, because that's what's the shortest way for me to go. And I'll show you why I'm located where I am. Go back to regular map view here. So I'm located right here in Forbade, and there's a reason for that, and that's bounty hunting. This is a Federation system, and it has a resource extraction site, and I can turn in my Federation bounty vouchers here and get the Zachary Hudson bonus because it's exploited by him. But up here is Liadin, and that's also exploited by Zachary Hudson, but this is an Empire Alliance system, so I can turn in Empire bounty vouchers here as well, very close by, and get the same bonus. But now we'll move out quite a long way to do a little bit of undermining, but don't worry, I'll cut out all of the traveling. But before we do that, let's take a look at the setup on my ship. So this is the Federal dropship. So I'm running a kill warrant scanner, 2 shield boosters, and a chaff launcher, and 4 medium multi-cannons, gimballed, and 1 large beam laser, also gimballed. And the beam laser is to help take down the shield, and all of these gimballed multi-cannons is to burn through the power plant on an Anaconda or Python really quickly for doing assassination missions. I guess you could also use it for bounty hunting, but you would have to pay for ammo. Let's take a look at the internals here. So what I did is I switched out the standard size 5 shield generator for size 6 shield generator. So it provides some more shield because this ship doesn't have very good shields to begin with. And then I did some armor tanking here in these compartments. And the reason for that is sort of like an insurance, because if I get into trouble, it's very hard to disengage and leave a fight in a very slow ship like the Federal dropship. It's also not very maneuverable to begin with. But having this extra armor, I'm usually able to just power up the frameshift drive and jump out anyway if I'm in trouble. And it's also handy if you start taking a bit of damage when you're taking down an Anaconda or Python in an assassination mission. Then I have a shield cell banks to keep me in the fight. We have this frameshift drive interdictor, and we're going to need that to interdict the ships that we need to destroy for undermining in a little bit. And that's it. Let's get going. Alright guys, so we're just jumping into Apala, and here we'll do our undermining.
Temperature critical.
We can also see that in the right bottom corner it says hostile, and that means that we are likely to get interdicted by powerplay NPCs here. When we start blowing up ships in here, we'll probably incur a wanted status and a bounty, so I'm just gonna dock up at Onsiaga's hold and refuel the ship before we go about undermining. So we just got interdicted here by a Iceling Duval wanted viper. So let's just accept the interdiction by throttling down. When you put your throttle all of the way down, you submit to interdiction. And let's see what we have here. Open up fire straight away and do a kill warrant scan. And just boost closer. And we'll take it out. There we go. So we got a bounty for that. And we got 30 power play, the Zachary Hudson. So it doesn't matter if it's a different power play faction in the system of Mayhan that we take out. As long as it's any power play NPC that we take out listed as enemy, we will receive merits. So that's good to know. Because this was an Iceling Duval ship. So let's just continue on and do that refueling. So we just finished refueling, repairing and restocking ammunition here. So we are ready to go out and do some undermining. So now we just need to enter Super Cruise and look for ships that we can take out and earn more merits.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
So while we are Looking, let me just show you a quick tip here. In the fire groups, you can see that I have both my kill warrant scanner and my frameshift drive interdictor set to the second fire button. And that doesn't matter because you can only use the kill warrant scanner when you're not in Super Cruise. And you can only use the frameshift drive interdictor when you're in Super Cruise, so having them set to the same button is fine. That's just a little tip if you don't want to have too many fire groups. Alright, let's see what we have in contacts. So here's a sidewinder. And the way that you scan ships is you just point towards them and you'll scan them. This one's wanted. And it's part of Elite Duval. So since it's wanted, we will not incur any bounties on ourselves for taking this out. So let's just try and take that out. See if this was actually a dangerous ship. When we would engage it, we would put all of our pips into sys. And that's the shields, and it'll make the shields 2.5 times stronger. It will not recharge them faster, but it'll make them stronger. Alright, so let's just interdict this.
Hull integrity compromised.
So let's select it, and we'll scan it
Scan detected.
with the kill warrant scanner before we blow it up. I'll just let the scan finish before we open fire, in case it uses chaff. I'll try and ram it also.
Target shields offline.
Didn't ram it.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, so we got 60 power play now. So we got 30 for that one as well. And we didn't even have to incur a bounty. Normally, when you're fighting in a ship like the Federal dropship that's so slow, you'll want to put all of your pips into engines and put the throttle here in the blue zone. And then when you turn, you can see it's still pretty slow. But if you use the vertical thrusters, you can do it a little bit faster. So you can see it goes a little bit faster now that I'm using the vertical thrusters. I'll stop using them now. So it slows down a little bit with the turn rate. So you can boost the turn rate a little bit with the vertical thrusters, and I'll show you something else. Now here we have a Opala, and we're going to travel away from it. Towards the star over here. And let's say that Opala thing was an enemy ship right on our tail. We are flying an extremely slow and not very maneuverable ship here, like the Federal dropship. So if you boost in this direction here, and then you press flight assist off.
Flight assist off.
You don't have to boost, you can also just do it. And then you turn around. See, here we have Opala, and we are traveling away from it with the flight assist off, because the only thing that turned around or rotated was the ship. So now we could actually shoot at it if this was an enemy ship while we're traveling in the opposite direction. And that's pretty useful. If we put the flight assist back on now, we'll be traveling, slowing down and start traveling towards Opala again here. That's something that you can do. Probably most useful for PvP. If you're flying a ship that's extremely slow to turn, then you can in fact just turn around, because most enemy players will of course be trying to be on your tail. So they'll be on your tail while you're traveling in the opposite direction, but you're facing them and you can shoot at them.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
So just need another target. So there's a Viper. We'll scan that. So that's also a wanted ship actually, and it's a Elite Duval, so we'll get power play points for this one also. And the fact that all of these ships are wanted is just really luck, because if they're not, we will incur a fine for interdicting, and we will incur a bounty for killing them. And remember to leave the scene pretty quickly after you blow them up, because the police might come for you. So you just enter back into Super Cruise. Soon this Viper is actually trying to interdict us, so we'll just go in this direction here and let him interdict us. Here we go. So I'll put the throttle down to 0, and then we submit to the interdiction. So let's just deploy hardpoints. Put everything into shields, and we'll select them, and we'll scan them. I'm not going to care if he shoots at me head on. He's not going to break the shields anyway. So we need to get him back in crosshairs to finish the scan. And now he's back to his turn, so let's just use all pips to weapons and open up. So I'm too far away now, so boost a bit closer. Put everything into engines here. So here I'll use all pips to engines, and I'll use the the vertical thrusters to increase my turn speed in this very slow ship. That's something you pick up when you're flying these really slow ships. You have to do it. If you don't, it'll take forever to turn. So now we have him. Now if I could, I would try and ram him, but I'm having trouble doing that. Because it's so maneuverable, the Viper. So what we could do is we can try and let him take our tail, like I was explaining before, and then we'll try and turn around with the flight assist off. So let's just do that now.
Flight assist off.
So now we're traveling in the same direction, so he'll be right behind us. Of course it's the AI, so it's extremely slow to actually follow us. But we're still traveling in the same direction, even though we're facing him. So now we can actually shoot at him while he's chasing our tail. So he'll come in now. There we go. It's going to blow up, so I'll let go of flight assist off. And
Flight assist on.
then we'll immediately start stopping, and then we will reduce the speed and start moving towards the direction we're facing. So yeah, let's see if we earn some power play. Yeah, now we're at 90 power play, which is only 10 shy of what you need for the bounty bonuses. Rating 2 with Zachary Hudson, for example. So this is a pretty efficient way of doing it, because you get 30 power play for every ship you destroy. And if you really don't want to incur bounties, maybe you can be lucky and just find wanted ships. So far we haven't actually killed a Mayhan ship, even though this is a Mayhan system. So let's see what we have. We have an Asp Explorer there. That's also wanted, but it's not a power play faction, so we don't care about that one. Just want to turn around and get a look at this adder. See what that is. See, this is a clean adder of Edmund Mayhan. So this one we would incur a bounty for taking out, because it's illegal here in the system, it's not wanted. But we would also gain 30 power play merits. Alright, so let's just interdict it. So you see we got a 300 credits fine for doing that. And this thing's clean as a whistle, so I'm not gonna bother actually kill warrant scanning it. It's also not really dangerous at all for us, so let's just put all pips into weapons and we'll just take it out. So it applied chaff there, so if you deselect the ship, then you can use your turrets as if they were fixed while it's deploying chaff. See, chaff ended, so now I can select it again, and my gimbal turrets will track it and hit. So that's another little tip for you. The way that you deselect the ship is you just press the button you have assigned to select ship in crosshairs. If you press that again in space, you will deselect the ship and you can use your gimbal turrets as if they were fixed to continue hitting the ship. But keep in mind that if you unlock the target, you'll also unlock subsystems if you have any targeted, which might not be the best idea if it's a Python or Anaconda, but it's pretty quick to retarget the subsystem again after you do it. So yeah, you can continue putting in damage that way if you want to. Alright guys, so now we're wanted in the system. Let's retract these hardpoints here and get going so the police doesn't show up to investigate this murder here. So yeah, now you don't want to try and dock here because you're wanted. But you just continue hunting here and blow up more ships and gain more merits. And as you can see, now we have 120 power play with Zachary Hudson. And we need to head to the headquarters of Zachary Hudson and hand in these power play merit vouchers by docking at a station in the headquarters system and going to contacts, power, and handing in these. And then they're converted into power play points that goes towards your rating. And for Zachary Hudson, that would be the system nanomam, but you can always see what the headquarters system is. If you head to Galactic Powers, Zachary Hudson in my case, view power on map, and there's this option here, show headquarters. And that's where you need to go to hand in your power play merit vouchers. This is how you do undermining. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.